What up? What up? What up? We are here. It is Golden Spaces, an Odyssey original podcast. And the Warriors won another game. They won a game at home against a good team. Wow. Wow. They did it on the backs of their defense. They held the Dallas Mavericks to 100 points. If you are unaware, the Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks 104 to 100 at home to move on to 41 and 34, which I think is the best win percentage they've had all season. I think 7 games above 500 is,
Yep.
the best mark they've had all season. So they're making us believe again, I think.
Again? Listen, I've always believed, yes, it gets
That's true.
dodgy, during the season, but I was always believing. And hey, what a time to turn it up at towards the end of the season. You're turning it up, getting yourself ready for the playoffs because we still believe that they will make the playoffs. And I'm looking like we can still make some moves up out of that 10th spot, you know.
Mhm.
Couple of teams need to, act a little wonky. However, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. So, look, I'm loving it. We are 500 at home now, so
Which is
all
crazy.
positive.
All positive. I mean, we've been saying since before the season even started that defense is going to have to be this team's calling card because they do not have an abundant amount of offensive talent on this team compared to the other like contenders or playoff level teams in the league, right? You look at the Dallas Mavericks, they have Luka and Kyrie, who both combined 21 for 41. If I'm reading that correctly, I don't know if I just did a quick math, but 57 points from them too. And, it's just like you expect it from them because they're that caliber of players. Where you look on the Warriors and it's like, okay, Steph is Steph. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well. And then outside of Steph, like no one is really on a Kyrie's type of level as far as shot creation and shot making and stuff like that. So they got to do it by committee on the offensive end by first and foremost. And secondly, they just got to make sure they lock down the other team, right? Like outside of Kyrie and Luka, nobody on the Mavericks could really score. PJ Washington shot 19 shots to get 20 points. But other than that, everybody else was pretty much locked up. And that's what the Warriors got to continue doing. They start the game with Draymond and Trace. This time, JK was still out. And I'm sure the numbers continue to look this way, but Draymond and Trace together is like a dominating defensive front court. Like they 99 defensive rating or something crazy, right? Where it's just like they're locking everybody down. They got athleticism and they got size on the interior, the Warriors version of size on the interior
Right.
where they can protect the rim, rebound, switch out into guards, do all of these things and not get punished on the glass. So that, I mean, JK's coming back next game, but it's like you got some questions going on there now, I think.
Yeah.
Whether or not he should come back into the starting lineup or come back off the bench, whatever the case may be. Curry's got yet another thing to figure out. But, I mean, if they can continue to play like this, whether he starts or comes off the bench, they need to continue to defend this way because it's their
Right.
best chance at doing anything significant this season.
Yeah. And, we're going to need, when JK comes back, the level of defensive effort that everyone is giving, we're going to need that same level from him because we know
Mm-hmm.
he can go in and out sometimes, but him sitting and watching, hopefully he knows this is the kind of effort we're going to need to take it to the next level. So I'm hoping that that's how he comes back into the fold. And it is going to get a little tricky. Does he get right back into the starting lineup? Or like, I don't know. This is mm, mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
It's gonna be
know. I
it's gonna be
I
interesting.
think I think we should stick with what we're going with right now. And again, you can always pull an insert at any time at the start of the game. So I think maybe we roll out with this and Kerr can probably use the look, you're just coming back off of the knee. You've been out of a stretch here. So we're just going to ease you back in. You're not going to just out the gate be in the starting lineup. And then I think that kind of will help massage whatever ego trip may or may not even, surface. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think as long as Jonathan plays a ton, I'm sure he wants to start. Like everybody wants to start, but as long as he plays a ton,
right.
I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And I mean, this starting lineup that they've put out today, where it's Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Trace, and Draymond, it more resembles the starting lineups of like the past
Of
of
old.
their really,
Yeah.
really good teams, right? Where it's just Steph, Clay, and Draymond, somebody who's more of a perimeter based guy in a more traditional quote unquote center next to Draymond. It
Hmm.
saves his legs. It gives him another guy who can help him on the rebounding, another
Right.
guy who can help at the rim. And I think it just establishes a really, really high defensive floor for them that allows them to kind of carry over into the game. And on nights like this where they can't really get hot from three, at least for an extended period of time, like Steph got
Right.
hot for a little bit and Clay had his moments, but like over the course of the game, they missed more shots than they made. You can still fall back on your defense. And guys that want to score off the bench can score off the bench. But yeah, I think they should probably stick with this for a little bit, at least see if it sustains. They've done it with every other
Right.
lineup that's done well. They stuck with it until it didn't do well. So I think they should do the same thing with this one. Um, let's get a little bit into some more individual performances. Let's start with Draymond. Like the last two games, he pretty much put the team on his back defensively and made some of the vintage Draymond plays that we've seen him make over the course of his career, where it's just like, how did you get this stop right here? Like, how did the
Right.
team not score? He got a few of them on Wemby last game where he's just stripping them clean, and Wemby's
Hmm.
asking for a foul. And you look at the replay, he's getting all ball, going back down the other end of the court. I think one play at the end of the game that was the biggest play of the game is where Kyrie got loose. He was coming towards the paint, and Draymond
Oh
is
yeah.
guarding Kyrie and Gafford at the same time, forces the pass to Gafford, and then just
Big
meets
ass.
him at the
Yeah.
rim. Then rips it from Kyrie on the
Rips
offensive
it.
rebound immediately,
Yeah.
saves it from going out of bounds. It's like those are the plays where like how many players in NBA history can
Yeah.
make that play, let alone people at his size and stuff. This is why when we talk about Draymond defensively, we hold him in such high regard because he is capable of making plays like this routine, right? This is what we've seen over his entire career. And they need it right now because they're missing JK, who is scoring. They don't have a ton of offensive talent, so they need to fall back on their defense, and he's just leading the charge in that regard. So wait for him to make up for that BS ejection that he got a few games ago.
Okay, yeah, because on that last play, it was a stuff, like, he, like, stuffed Gafford
Mhm.
and took
Mhm.
it right from him, and you saw he got it to Clay to save it because he was going out of bounds, and Clay actually waited for him to give him that, like,
Yeah, yeah.
high five, like, "Yo, that was the joint right there." I mean, superb defensive and some offensive magic from Draymond Green late in the game. Like, that was awesome. He actually decided to be aggressive on that end because
Yeah.
we needed that. Because clearly, everybody's going to be on Curry. Like, they were doing everything they could to be like, Curry is not going to go off. Everybody else has to be the one to step up. And that's what they did. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Draymond was fantastic. He really was. Early on, we thought he was gonna he was getting a little testy, him and
And then
Gafford.
Gafford.
But
Mhm.
look, you saw Stephen like already be like,
Yeah.
we ain't doing none of this foolishness again. And Draymond, walks away.
Hmm.
Look,
Yeah.
progress, baby steps, baby steps.
Baby
But
steps.
yeah, no, but great all around game for him, and way to turn it up late to really get us get us this win.
And this is why people are pushing for more Trace for one, and pushing in
Hmm.
general for another center, just another guy who can help Draymond inside, right? Like we
Right.
see him play so much center that his body starts to break down. We see him play so much center that his shot starts to abandon him. It's tough banging
Hmm.
against these dudes who are just way taller, way heavier, way stronger than him. He can
Right.
use his mind and his instincts to a certain extent, but like that's just going to take a toll on the body, and it leaks into other areas of the game. Let alone, you run a health risk when you do that. But like when you have a guy next to him who can do all of those big man things in terms of rebounding and banging inside and grabbing a rebound and protecting the rim, it allows him to keep his legs a little bit more. So you're going to get a little bit more
Right.
pop and juice offensively, and he's going to have the legs at the end of games to make the plays like he made on Gafford. Whereas so many times this season we've seen him in the same position, and the other team ends up scoring because he just don't have the juice, the gas to be able to make
Right.
those plays. So having a guy like Trey step into the starting lineup and play well and preserve Draymond's legs and Draymond's body is huge for this team. And this is probably another reason why, Trace could at least continue to play a ton, not necessarily start, but he has to play a ton
Yeah.
because it's gonna help Draymond to play like this.
Well, that's what looks like it's happening anyway. Trace has
Mhm.
been in the starting lineup. He's, taken off. He's really racked up some minutes. So, and you see, like I said, each game he's progressing.
Yeah, and I mean, it also probably helps Wiggins. Right,
Yeah.
like Wiggins doesn't have to do as much of the big man things. Like a big issue with this Warriors team in terms of playing small is that they don't have enough guys who consistently play big. Like you might have guys who you might be able to guard one-on-one, but when it comes to like boxing out, grabbing rebounds, I believe there's a stat this year, this team, like, Kuminga, Wiggins, Draymond, and Clay, they're all rebounding in a decent level over the course of the game, right? The Warriors lead the league in
Mhm.
rebounding. But when it comes to
Yeah.
clutch, all four of those guys rebounds dip
Mm,
drastically. When you
mm.
scale it like on a per 36
Yeah.
minutes or per possession basis, all of their rebounding production goes way down because they're probably gassed at the end of the game and they're playing against bigger players. Where if you got Trace in there, it allows these guys to play their true position a little bit longer. And a lot of these guys are actually big for their position, but when you move them up, then they become
Right.
small. So
Yeah.
it helps all these guys. Wiggins looks. We can talk about Wiggins now. Like he had a good game again. He had a stinker the other night, but like he bounced right back and had a good game.
Yeah.
8 for 16, hitting a few threes. We were talking about that 3-point volume going up and how it relieves pressure for guys. He hit 3 threes tonight, hit his free throws tonight.
Yeah.
And for a large portion of the game, he was playing Luka pretty well. Now Luka got going and started just cooking
Mhm.
everybody, but
Yeah.
he got Luka for a few good possessions. Like, what did you see from Andrew tonight that like stood out to you?
Yeah, I thought Andrew stepped it up a bit more because early on
Mhm.
he wasn't hitting the shots that it was just like, nah, come on,
Yeah,
that's
at
a
the
shot
very beginning of the game, it was kind
yeah,
of bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That I was like, we ain't doing this again, Wiggins. We are
no.
not going backwards. But he turned it around and he really made some key shots late in the game and at times where it was just like, oh, we really needed that bucket to stop the
Yep.
drought. So I thought he played extremely well once he got out of whatever was happening early on and just really showed out and really stepped it up defensively on Luca as well because we saw the switch that Kariemah, like Moody's gonna take Luca,
Mhm.
and you saw the difference there. Um, and so then it was kind of like, all right, Wiggins, you got the memo. Do what you got to do. And so
Yeah.
he turned it around second half, and then he was off to the races. And he got some blocks. Yeah, he blocked Luca's shot like big time there.
Mhm.
Um, so just all around, great to see Wiggins with this kind of energy and the way he's speaking because he got the interview at the end of the game is just like, hey, we play together, we stick together, we work hard on defense because we still believe in ourselves that we can make some noise. That is really good to hear from Wiggins, who really is a quiet kind of guy. So to
Yeah.
hear that from him, then you know that there is belief in him and the team collectively believes in what they can do staying together and working hard on defense, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he said like, I feel like we can beat anybody. And they know it's go time right now. So
Yeah.
they trying to climb up outside of that 10 spot. And they trying to get as close as to a guaranteed playoff spot as possible. And we can't ask for a better effort from him in terms of defense and stuff like that. And his offense is coming with him. So yeah, we hope it continues. We've been saying it all season. Like Whenever we see a flash, we just want it to
Yeah.
continue, right? Like, so we're hoping that continues. Splash Bros didn't necessarily have a good shooting night, but they both played pretty good defense, right? I mean, like the whole team played
Yeah.
good defense. You held the Mavericks to 100 points, but um, I saw a stat earlier today where it said like the best like 5-man defensive groups or something in the NBA, and um, it was the starters minus Trace plus Kuminga, right? So
Mhm.
the same, 4 guys from last year that were starting, but you got Kuminga in there. And I think they've shown that they can still defend at a high level, right? Like you can
Right.
put Steph on the guys like Derrick Jones, and Derrick Jones is not going to score on him. He was 0 for 4, right? Like if you're not going to
Mhm.
be a guy that's skilled and bigger than Steph, you're not going to score on him. Clay went from Kyrie to PJ Washington to all these guys, and
To
he was holding his
Luka.
own out there. Luka. So he was holding his own out there. He's been pretty solid defensively all season, despite the many narratives surrounding Klay Thompson that are false. But they combined 10 for 32 from the field, which is obviously not great. They couldn't really make 2-pointers, but they were 5 for 13 from 3. And Klay hit 2 very, very clutch free throws at the end to kind of steal
Yes.
the game.
Yes.
That's one thing you can depend on with Klay is like he's due for a clutch shot, right? Like he
Right.
might miss a few throughout the course of the game, might take a few bad ones, but you can always know that Klay is like not scared at the moment at all, which is pretty rare and it's good when you do have a guy that's built like that.
Right.
Um, so yeah,
And And even though, like you said, they didn't have the great shooting night, but all the work that they both do, keeping the defense honest on the other side, but
yeah,
also Curry setting screens and things like that, assists, just his gravity alone. But the fact that he will set a screen to get Andrew this clear, wide open 3 ball to go up. You know what I mean? The
yep,
screen to get Draymond to take that curl right in to get that layup at the end. You know what I'm saying? So
yep,
it, just because he's not shooting the greatest, he's still going to put in that work on the offensive end to get everyone else the openings.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
you
I
know,
mean, Clay does this. Clay does the same thing. He doesn't
yep.
dribble, but I mean, we had a play earlier in the game with TJD put Gafford on the poster. Um,
Yeah, that was
Comes off
nice.
of Clay running off of
Run
fake
it. Yep.
handoff. Two go with Clay. Trace just takes the ball, dribbles one time, and puts it on Gafford's head. So definitely can't underrate the Splash Bros gravity and how much it helps these other guys get consistently like easier shots. So shout out to them. Mr. Chris Paul had a pretty good game off the bench.
Okay, little Chris. I
Well,
mean,
Chris,
he went back to his Clipper days.
he,
With them shots that he was making and taking,
mhm,
and he stepped up on the defensive end early, not late, but early on in that little mix, little run that the second
mhm,
unit was that had us on. The second unit really played extremely well,
they did.
torching Dallas's second unit, but Chris, yeah, looked like the Chris of old, hitting his midi, hitting threes. Like,
Yep.
what? What are we doing? But actually taking them opposed to, him and Han and not pounding the ball to the very end of the shot clock and then trying to pass it off to someone. So yeah, this was
Yeah.
this was a really good game from Chris. And hopefully he can keep that going because we did
Right.
see it last game. So we're hoping that he's going to turn up, as the
Hmm.
kids say,
I mean, he's at 20 minutes. Like, keep him
which is
at
what we
20
like.
minutes.
Which is
Exactly.
what we like.
He's going to have the legs to hit shots. He's going to have the legs to hit his middies and his threes, make good decisions with the ball. He did not turn the ball over. So he's back to not turning the ball over, which is great. He had 5 assists. Yeah, just be the floor general when Steph's not on the court. There's going to be some games, a lot of games where you play against that second unit and the second unit isn't good. So you can just torch them, right? Like
Right.
Steph has his hands full with the starters trying to compete with the other team starters. And then you got Chris Paul coming in there playing against like Jaden Hardy and like these other guys coming off the Mavericks bench. It's like, yeah, that's an easy win for the Warriors, right? Chris Paul is going to win those minutes, especially if you're playing with players that can actually do stuff with the ball and actually help him out on that end. Speaking of such, Mr. Moses Moody, 4 threes, led
Oh,
the team in threes. He's a legit shooter, right? Like he had his stretch where he went through a slump. He couldn't hit a
yeah.
three. But I truly think when he's in rhythm and playing rhythm minutes and like playing a lot of minutes, the confidence is going to be there. The touch is going to be there, right? Like every level of basketball that he's played at, he's been a shooter, he's been a scorer. So I'm not worried about Moses Moody shooting the ball. He had 12 points, all threes, 4 rebounds, hustling. He was trying his best to guard some of these guys. Like he had a few plays where he knocked the ball loose from Luka. He knocked the
Yep.
ball loose from Kyrie. Didn't necessarily get the steal every time, but his hands are active. He's making these guys uncomfortable.
And making
And that's
them work.
exactly making them work. Like you're making them tired at least. Like they
Mhm.
still make some shots, but it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 dribbles it takes to get there, a couple of different moves it takes to get there. So I tweeted
And
that
oh, go ahead.
I tweeted that he probably should be over Gary in the depth chart going forward
I saw that
for many
kind of,
reasons.
perk some
We
people's
can talk about
backs
that.
got straight. Like, not Gary, not Gary. No, but
I know.
Gary wasn't doing, he was fouling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just really uncharacteristic of Gary. But it was kind of just like, all right, we're gonna have to switch something up because
Mm-hmm.
it's just not working. You're killing us right now. But but he still kind of like turned it around a little bit. But I could see Moses jumping Gary because you also have the offense that Moses brings and the height. But again, like you said, Gary's a specialist, and yeah, he can run with Kyrie for a little bit, but you also have Moses on Kyrie and Luca,
Mm-hmm.
and he was really doing the thing.
Yeah,
Like, and recovering well, doing just grabbing rebounds, boxing out, like massive, just being everywhere.
exactly.
Really.
That's
And
the biggest
so,
thing with me when it comes to Moses Moody is like he can do so many different things. Like he doesn't do anything at an elite level, like Gary at point of attack. At least
right.
the best version of Gary at point of attack is like one of the very best point of attack defenders in
Mhm.
the league, right? Pickpocket, all that type of stuff. Clay is one of the best shooters in the league. Wiggins is one of the best point of attack defenders in the league, whatever the case may be. Moses may not be at that level at any particular skill, but he does so many things well. He rebounds well. He defends one-on-one well. He plays
Mhm.
team defense pretty good as well.
Right.
He can hit a shot. He can also attack a closeout and score. He can score in transition. So he does so many different things well that you can pretty much put him in any lineup and he can find a way to impact the game. And that's why I think just in general, having a guy who can do multiple things is what separates a lot of these teams. Like you look at OKC, pretty much all times of the game, they're playing somebody who can dribble, pass, shoot, defend, do all of them,
Mhm.
right? Not like just two. The
Right.
Warriors have too many guys that can do just like two things good and like other things
Mhm.
not so good. Where Moses is one of those guys that fits into the category of he can do a little bit of everything. So he probably should be playing. And he's a young dude that you want
Right.
to develop. Where Gary is kind of like getting into his 30s, he's not getting any better. Right. So you might want to give
Right.
those reps to Moses going forward just a little bit more. You don't necessarily got to take Gary out of rotation because he did have a
Right.
good game.
Yeah.
I just
Didn't
think
make
Moses.
those shots, which they were so open and they look good coming off. So I
Mhm.
really thought, oh, this is going in. This is going in. And I thought we'd at least cash in on one of them, but they looked good coming off and it was the right shot to take. You're
For sure.
wide open. And it wasn't like, he was shaky with it. It looked, like I said, it looked good leaving his hand. I thought it was going in.
Yeah,
And
same.
it didn't.
It is what it is. Like Gary's one of those dudes.
Right.
He'll go 0 for 3 one game. He'll go 2 for 3 the next game, and it's kind of like that's why
Right.
his averages are like where they are. He's hit or miss. So it is what it is with Gary. Like he finished around the rim very well. Like at the end of
Yep.
the game, had some key fast break dunks and layups and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So he's definitely very valuable to this team going forward. So just as far as guys that we haven't talked about yet, Brandon Pajemski was a plus 17.
He really, really turned it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I kind of was wavering when he took Chris Paul out and inserted Pods instead of inserting Moses down the stretch. Because I thought the length and the shot making would really work. But Pods really did a superb job in that closing lineup. His hustle, like just his quickness, was able to just like push the ball and everything and really set up some some shots. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought he was really good, and he was taking the shots that were there for him. Thank you, because a lot of the time he would be hesitant, passes it off, or it was just like you got to take it when it's there, and he made them.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes he might like try to force it a little bit as well with
Yeah.
the hook shots and stuff like that. But like taking the shots within the flow is, super important for him. I think just in general, like like you said, his hustle and his IQ, like the combination of both
Hmm.
of those two things, that's what makes him such a guy like who can connect a lot of lineups. We've been using the term connector so much this season. He
Right.
looks for the guys we're supposed to. He pushes the ball in transition just like Draymond does, and he's looking for guys. He gets the ball into the
Yeah.
paint. He's pivoting around to see who's open.
Hmm.
If no one's open, he keeps his dribble alive. Sometimes he can get the ball back out, but he's such a smart player that plays really, really hard. So it was always a matter of like playing him the appropriate amount of minutes. Like if he really has it going and he's out there winning his minutes by a lot, like he did tonight, he can play 31 minutes. That's what he
Yeah.
played. Yeah, 31, which is tied for third most or something like that on the team tonight. He had 10 rebounds and 5 assists. Just hustle, just making extra possessions, connecting possessions. That type of stuff is great.
Yeah.
So let's just continue to do that. And with Pods is like he was supposed to come to the league and be like the shooter that can't do all of this other stuff.
Right. Right.
So we're just waiting. Eventually, the shooting part is going to actually be there. He did hit a three tonight, but we're
Yeah.
just waiting for that. Like,
Timely.
yeah,
Timely. So yeah.
exactly. We're waiting for him to really, really take that step as a scorer and a shooter. Maybe it comes next year, but if he can continue to do all this other stuff, then he's going to be able to find his way on the court for a long time anyway. So shout out to Paz for the performance he had tonight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much everybody. We saw Loon had a decent stretch out there,
Yeah.
got rebounds. Like this is
Again, and keeping plays alive. Like
hmm
again, Looney coming in to relieve, give Draymond a break, give Trace a break. Looney still knows what to do out there. He was even taking Luca, and we haven't seen that in a minute, but Loon was up to the challenge. Okay. Okay.
always
He was still moving his feet, doing what he can do. So, you know, good work, Loon. Good work, Loon.
good work. We knew he's gonna be ready whenever his name is called, right? JK is
Yep.
out, so that's another person up in the depth chart that's gotta get some of those minutes. And he came in there and he wasn't hurting the team. He was creating possessions, like you said, and doing the Loon thing. So shout out to Loon. He's always gonna be ready. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of like, is the matchup appropriate for him? And he's gonna go out there and give it his all anyway. So shout out to Loon always. Um,
Always.
Standings watch, unless you have anything else from this game.
Nope. Just great win. Great win.
hmm Going to standings watch, the Warriors obviously gain a game on the Mavericks. They're not catching them, probably not, but they are still in 10th, 41 and 37. Like we said, 7 games above 500, which is the best mark of this season. They're now one less loss than the Lakers, 2 less wins. So they're a game and a half behind them. We just got to watch that loss column. Let's see if the Lakers
Hmm.
end up getting to loss number 34 before the Warriors get to loss number 35. The Warriors have now won 5 games in a row. The Suns have 31 losses. The Kings have 31 losses. So I believe each team has about 8 or so games left, 7.
Yeah. 7.
Um, it's interesting because the Suns have like the hardest schedule in the league left. The Kings lost Malik Monk and they lost Herter for
Yeah.
I think to the at least to the
The
playoffs.
season. Well, Herter's out for the season.
Oh yeah.
He's done. He's done. But Malik Monk, I think they're saying he could probably come back during the playoffs, but
hmm
I don't know.
Don't know. They have won 2 games in a row, but like you never know with guys like that with injuries. Teams can start losing games. So we got to keep an eye on it. The Rockets were never a threat. I'm glad that this is this is becoming a thing of the past now. It was fun while it lasted, but the Warriors now have 3 games above them. They play the Rockets tomorrow night.
Is
No,
that
they play the Rockets Friday.
okay? Because I was
Thursday.
like Thursday. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
and then they play the
Thursday.
Mavs again Friday.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. I'm looking.
Mhm.
What I saw
Yeah,
posted where Kaminga's back for Thursday Houston game. So
right.
that I remembered. Like, wait, no. So okay,
Mhm.
all right.
So yeah, they play the Rockets on Thursday. If they beat them, they will get yet another game on top of them, and it'll be done from there because they're just not going to catch them. I don't think they're going to catch them anyway. So don't got to really worry about the Rockets. Just take it a game at a time, trying to win as much as you can. That is a
Right.
back to back. So the goal obviously is always to split a back to back. But if you can win both of those games, that would be huge. Dallas is going to not try to let you beat them 2 times in a row, but go do it
In their house. No,
in there,
that's because
right?
that's what we're yeah.
So that's going to be
I
tough.
mean, that will be, and the whistles will be flying, not for us, clearly,
Mhm.
as we saw in this game,
Yeah,
which horrendous,
we already know what it is with
horrendous.
Steph. We know what
But
it is
I
with Steph.
mean, but even not with the fouls, but with the out of bounds, a clear hit off of a Mavs,
Mhm.
and they give the ball to them. It's just like, wait a minute, how do you miss this one? I mean,
Yeah.
so clear. And then Kyrie gets the little bumper car move. Steph goes down and tries it, and they're like, nothing to see here. Like you
Mhm.
literally just gave it to Kyrie.
Yeah. It's so weird when it comes to Steph. I
Oh
really
my
don't understand what they
gosh.
see. I don't know what they
I,
see, or don't see, because everybody else sees it in the gym. That
it's
screenshot is
like,
circulating throughout Twitter. I'm sure all of our viewers or listeners,
yeah.
have seen it, where it's Gafford, both arms just hacking Steph, no call.
Just,
Yeah, we're used to it at this
yeah.
point, but it'll never not be annoying. Like, it'll never
Yeah.
not be annoying. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the Warriors did get away with the little travel at the end with Klay
Look,
Thompson. That's
look, I
okay.
guess look, okay, it
It
balances
balanced
out
out.
because
It balanced
because
out.
because Luca he be walking too, but we ain't gonna say nothing. You know,
Yeah.
no nobody ever
It
see,
is.
but he the first one trying to call it. But okay, okay. But
Yeah.
I will say that was a travel by Clay,
It was. I thought he
and
got
we will
pushed,
just,
but he didn't. But he just
but
tripped.
and we look, we will call this a makeup call because we
Makeup.
were getting got by the
Yeah.
officials. So
Yeah.
we'll take it.
We will take it. We will take it. So yeah, Warriors are 41 and 34, trying to climb up. I think the goal is at least to get to 8. So you give yourself 2 chances at it. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's possible, honestly. In the event that I saw something in the event that the Kings, Suns, and Lakers all tie, the Lakers would be last. I think the Suns would be no, it would be that same order: Kings, Suns, Lakers. So that's something to also keep
Oh,
an eye on because all these tiebreakers and stuff like that. Try to win out. If you win out, I think you can get out of that 10th spot for sure. Because these other teams will start losing some games. So keep it at 34 wins and 34 losses. I think you'd be in
yeah. I
pretty
was
good
like,
shape.
I can't
I think
believe the Kings beat the Clippers. Like, what is happening here?
the
But
Clippers have been
okay.
not good for a little bit.
Yeah. But the
They,
Kings down those players is just like, I know Kawhi didn't play or whatever, but he don't really ever play. Granted, this season he's been playing. Let me put out the disclaimer. He has been playing a lot this season. So.
he has been playing a lot this season. I'm sure Keon Ellis put James Harden in a straight jacket tonight. He had 5 turnovers and he shot 1 for 7. So there you go. That's why the Clippers lost right there because it's getting close
Wow.
to playoffs. It's getting close to playoff time. So the real James Harden is showing his
Showing
color.
up. Showing
Yeah,
up. Showing
yeah,
up and showing out.
showing up and showing out. The Lakers beat the Raptors tonight. I was hoping for a
Yeah,
miracle, but that
me
did not
too.
happen. Who do the Lakers play next? They play
Yes, it's gonna take a
the Wizards, so that's
miracle.
probably another win for them.
Listen, the Wizards won tonight. They beat the Bucks. So I'm just saying,
The Bucks kind of.
there's a chance.
Which
There's a
AP do?
chance.
AP was cooking.
He was cooking.
JP. It was more like Corey
I thought,
Kispert hit them for
yeah,
the sound.
but it looked like Jordan was having a decent game.
Yeah, 13 assists. There you go, Jordan. Let's do it against the
There you
Lakers,
go.
brother. Corey
Let's do
Kispert,
it.
I'm gonna need that 27. Denny Avia, I'm gonna need that 23. You know,
Need. Come on. Help us out. Help us
help
out.
us out. Help us out. They're gonna be in DC too, so I might have to,
Yeah. You're gonna
you
have to
know,
roll up. Roll
roll
up.
up. You know, but yeah, great win by the guys tonight.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling. Let's get 2 more wins in Texas on that back-to-back, and then finish the season strong. Wiggins said it best. They think they can beat anybody. They just got to go out there, play with that requisite amount of energy, defense, attention to detail, desperation, and then
Yes.
they're gonna be able to compete with any of these teams. So yeah,
Yeah.
you got anything else?
No, hey, look, shout out to the Chase Center DJ. What is it? DJ Slack or something like that? I mean, I don't know what his name is, but he was playing Texas Hold'em. This ain't Texas. Hey,
Shout out to
what?
the
I thought that was
Beehive.
very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, these DJs be on it. They be on it with these teams and stuff like that. So yeah, shout out to him for that. Shout out to the Beehive. Shout out to Beyonce.
All right,
Legendary.
okay.
You don't like Beyonce?
I mean, listen,
She all right.
it's no secret. I'm not a stan. There are songs that I like. I will say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And we can go with that.
Okay.
Because clearly I'm sure folks will be after me because how dare you not be it? No, relax, folks. Relax. It is what it is.
Okay. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys tonight. We may see you guys either Thursday or Friday. We will
do
out
Thursday. We will do Thursday
without me.
Because listen, the Final Four is on Friday. So
Facts.
we could do this Thursday. And without Justin, but again, we will still bring the fire.
Still bring the fire. It'll be a ladies' night. Again, I know you guys love that. But yeah, make sure you are following us on our socials, Golden Spaces Pod. Make sure you are listening to us wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you're watching us on YouTube, 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel under their podcast feed, Golden Spaces. Thank you guys for joining us. We always appreciate the company and the positive reviews and stuff like that. So keep dropping those. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Adios.